I went to see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse exactly 1 week after I went to see Little Mermaid. I have a lot to say. I'm happy to report that Spider-Man generally kicks ass. Not only was it visually stunning, but for the first time ever really, we got to see how true diversity and representation can be done in a movie. But before I tell you all about it, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notifications not to miss any episodes of Daily Fredo.
Alright, let's do this one last time.
Actually, first time, because I haven't done any Spider-Man reviews yet. We've waited for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse for 5 years, watching one bad superhero movie after another, losing hope for this genre. So was it worth the wait? Short answer is yes. The movie has Easter eggs, incredible music, animation that will make your jaw drop. If you love the first movie, then this one will blow you away, as they really managed to take it level up when it comes to visuals. There were some legendary characters introduced in the movie, freaking Spider-Punk, such a cool character. Then the Indian Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2099, and of course the Spot. Guys, the Spot was everything. I swear the way he was animated still gives me goosebumps. I loved it. Someone on Reddit said, "It was solid. I was a bit overwhelmed with how much work went into it." I don't want to give too much away, of course, but he appears in the movie as this goofy comical villain of the week. But his character progression, even though settled, makes you feel that whatever is coming is sinister. Gwen leads Miles to so-called HQ, where he meets multiple Spider-Men, and I mean hundreds of them, from all across Spider-Verse. We see characters from the past movies and comic books appear as a memory, reference, or in real time. Even Childish Gambino appears in a cameo. We also meet Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099 from the future. His character is sick. Makes you feel uneasy when he's on the screen, his demeanor, the motivation behind what he does. But he can also crack a joke. Super interesting character that basically gives you mixed feelings. And of course, Gwen Stacy. I love that she is powerful, clever, but as a supporting character for Miles, she doesn't overpower him in the story to satisfy feminists out there. It's girl power, but not annoying. Evil Miles from Different Dimension was a nice touch too. Sure, we saw it before in Doctor Strange, but that movie was a show. Anyway, I have to come clean about something. I had no idea this movie was just a part 1. I was one of the few people in the whole universe, or across the Spider-Verse, who did not know this movie is supposed to be a 2-part movie. So when I saw that to be continued at the end, I gasped. Nothing was resolved, literally nothing. There was no closure of anything at all. But that goes to show I was really hooked. I wanted more. I'll suck it up. I'm waiting for Dune. I'll wait for Spider-Man 2. It's fine. We're all fine. Hey, at least I can't spoil the end for you, cause there is no end. So this abrupt ending of the movie made me not like one little thing about it. Maybe the story was just a little bit too stretched out. There are a lot of characters. They all deal with a lot of issues. It wasn't hard to follow or anything like that. I just think it could have been a bit more condensed, and then maybe the movie could fit a resolution of one of the issues of any of the characters. Give us some relief. So I checked Reddit, and this is what people had to say. My friend went to the bathroom because she didn't want to miss the climax, and when she came back, the movie was over. Another one, the ending just pissed me off. And this user says, loved the movie, but the funniest part was when the audience voiced their collective shock and annoyance at the to be continued. Well, I'm there with you. And someone answers, my theater lost it. I think what blew my mind was listening to people who were like, I had no idea it had already been 2 hours. I legit think a lot of them could have sat through 5 hours of this without complaint. Can't blame them. I could have too. So I wasn't the only one. Anyway, people on our side of the world got frustrated with this too. Την είδα εχθές και ήταν υπέροχη, αλλά στο τέλος έλεγε to be continued και ήταν σαν να μην έχει τέλος. So he loved it, but the movie felt like it didn't have the end. We agree here. But all in all, it's an epic movie. It has some legendary scenes with hundreds of Spider-Man in it, great sense of humor that we are so used to from our webhead. And yes, I'm repeating myself again about the visuals, but I don't care. It was masterpiece. So like I said, I watched this movie only a week after I watched The Little Mermaid. If you want to know my thoughts on the Disney remake, I am linking it right here and in the description. Okay, so the first and major difference between the two movies is how they dealt with diversity and representation, which we talked about a lot over these past weeks. Reserve wrote, one might not think of the two films as having much to do with each other, but both are attempts to diversify beloved decades-old pop culture properties, broadening the racial mix on screen and, in theory, making these stories relatable to a wider array of viewers in the process. But only one succeeds, and it's not the mermaid. So the Little Mermaid's inclusion efforts feel more like mandatory HR training than any meaningful program of cultural expansion. Indeed, the movie's shallow approach to diversity ends up working against it, raising odd and frankly uncomfortable questions that cut against the mix of oceanic silliness and scariness that kept the first film afloat. Oh my god, yes, and then anyone who criticized it was called a racist or a bigot. The article continues. Spider-Verse, in contrast, uses its self-conscious displays of diversity as a portal into a wild and exuberant exploration of human individuality. It's a movie that finds joy and wonder in its portrayal of multi-ethnic, multiracial, multicultural, multi-attitudinal world of Spider-Man and Spider-Women and Spider-something else's, where the Little Mermaid treats its diversity updates as a cautious exercise to obligatory box-checking. Basically, the movie's concept was that every multiverse strand had its own Spider-Person, with infinite strands that meant infinite Spider-Man existed, so anyone could become Spider-Man. It wasn't just about one person named Peter Parker anymore. The character represented this badass superhero who could be portrayed by anyone. The movie's message was clear: we all have the potential to be Spider-Man. For example, Loki, how his story was completely destroyed and caused fans backlash because a woman came to replace him, female Loki from different universe. He outsmarted Avengers for God's sake, but then she appears and trashes him, turning him into dust as a character who doesn't exist anymore and is this big wuss. Anyway, you all know what happened. I'm just still bitter about it. However, here in Spider-Verse, every character has a story, journey, valid reason for existence, and nobody replaces anybody. The movie took it to the next level then, and all this diverse range of Spider people is revealed. There is an Indian Spider-Man, British anarchist punk Spider-Man, Spider-Man from the future, and hundreds more. Many have also loved the Puerto Rican mother of Miles and found their relationship endearing. All those characters represent a type of culture and ethnicity, but they are all distinctive individuals created on purpose, not some white folk replaced by a person of color for extra points. I take so much pleasure from all the positive reviews because this is really showing those who screamed racism over the Little Mermaid fiasco that they were wrong. We are not opposed to movies with black characters. We are opposed to bad movies and faking representation, treating the audience like they're stupid. Another thing that I want to compare between those two is love. Disney went completely mental on censoring song lyrics, making sure nothing was overly suggestive, not saying it's a bad thing, but again, it was fake and just for show. And then other people wanted more kink in it. Across the Spider-Verse has this beautiful love story between Miles and Gwen. It's innocent, young, exciting, full of life. It's vanilla but still exciting and we actually care. I won't start comparing the animation level. Spider-Verse is in its own league and left all other animated films behind in the dust. But things got interesting when we compared the budgets of the film. Little Mermaid budget was $250 million. New Spider-Verse only needed $100 million to create what seems to be the most visually stunning animation of all time. So yeah, I think Disney needs to dive into receipts and see where their money is actually going. So let's see what Reddit had to say. If this does $1 billion, I think the Disney Pixar model for animated movies might be in serious trouble. I've loved a lot of their movies, but I cannot figure out why they cost twice as much as movies like this. And while losing to Illumination is one thing, I think Disney needs to take a hard look in the mirror if great animated movies like this can perform as well as the Disney movies at half the cost. And another user says, unless Beyond the Spider-Verse is shockingly Shrek the Third, Spider-Man 3 levels of disappointment, Spider-Verse will potentially become not just one of the greatest superhero trilogies ever, but one of the best film trilogies in general. Yep. Now I know people are giving shit for Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, but this movie aged like fine wine. When it comes to Spider-Verse, Greek audience loved it as much. Είναι καλύτερη από την πρώτη ταινία, which means it's better than the first movie. I don't know, maybe yes, maybe not. Yes and no, I don't know. And another user says, πραγματικά αυτή η ταινία ήταν 11 από 10. Απλώς θέλω να κοιμηθώ και να ξυπνήσω το 2024. So this person says that the movie was 11 out of 10 and they want to fall asleep and be waken up in 2024 when the movie comes out. How about the ratings, you might ask? Look at these juicy scores on Rotten Tomatoes. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, 95% tomato meter. I don't know. And 96% audience score. The weird thing about it is that the Little Mermaid's audience score is at 95%, and I say something fishy is going on here. But of course the major difference is The box office. The Little Mermaid was a massive disappointment, especially on the international level, whereas the new Spider-Man swings to best opening of summer year to date with $120 million plus, beating Guardians. Across the Spider-Verse posted an exceptional $120.5 million opening, one which tracking didn't see coming, but exhibition did, making it the best start of a summer tentpole year to date, the third best opening for a Spider-Man movie. I'm putting the updated numbers up on the screen at the time of editing of this video. I loved Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, if you can't tell by now. This is a type of groundbreaking cinema we are longing for. Relatable characters, wonderful stories, diversity, so everyone, literally everyone, feels included. No unnecessary sexualization of the plot, but emotions and love story is still exciting. Again, the breathtaking visuals. We've been so disappointed by superhero movies lately. This is the medicine we all needed to heal us from the fails like Doctor Strange, She-Loki, She-Hulk, Thor, and many more. Starting from the script, individual character stories, all the way through the movie's marketing efforts, nothing felt fake or forced. And we, the audience, loved it. Don't try to trick us into liking something manufactured, fake, political. We won't have it. I have to know what you guys think about the movie. Did you love it as much as I did? Let me know in the comments. I'll read all of them. If you enjoyed this video, you should watch one of those two next. And of course, subscribe to my channel so you never miss another episode of Daily Fredo. And
I love chai tea.
What did you just say? Chai tea? Chai means tea, bro.